Guys, Keegan.
Yes, sir.
It's the deep surface right now.
It is. It is.
Some of you guys might notice we back in our original space right now. How you feel about that, man?
Well, I got a promotion. I was sitting over there. Now I'm next to the president. Now I'm next to the man. So
listen,
it's going good for me.
Good promotion, bro.
Nobody, this is going good for me.
In a comfortable seat.
I'm happy, bro.
Man, listen, man. Listen, man, I tell you what, God is amazing.
Absolutely.
Man, we woke up this morning.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Let's start there.
Amen.
Somebody didn't.
Somebody didn't. We're healthy. We got the activities of our limbs. Man, let's thank God, man, for every second that we have on this earth. The ability to be able to operate and function at a level to our advantage to help us progress in the society. Man, I want to start out just by being thankful, man. And I want to go here for a second. And we got some special guests, but we're going to go to them for a second. But I want to kind of start off with this thought. So the playoffs are going on, and we ain't going to talk about sports right now, but the coach from the Phoenix Suns said something after a terrible loss by his team. And I think Monty Williams is a phenomenal leader. And his team lost. Everybody was in the locker room, and they were down. And he made a quote, and this was so good for me, Keegan. He said, "Everything you want in life is on the other side of hard."
That's very true.
That's a bar and a word.
Everything, not something, everything you want in life. When he said that, something inside of me jumped because it let me know, Steve, what are you doing to get past your hard? Are you actually taking the steps? Are you skipping steps? Are you saying you're doing it, but you're really not? Are you giving it about 50%? Well, how are you going to say you love your wife and your children if you're giving something 50%? These are questions I'm asking myself after you hear such a profound thought like that. Keegan, I want to go to you for a second, man. When you hear something like that, because it inspired me to start taking a look at every part of my life, every aspect of the habit that I've built over the years. Is it toxic for me, or is it something that'll propel me to my future? And some toxic habit, Keegan, you don't want to let go. Let's keep it about that toxic feel good. It does. Talk to me a little bit about it, Keegan.
Toxic feel good.
It do. It can please the flesh, no question. So I would say that quote reminds me of my homeboy Bernard Perkins, who told me one day, he said, nothing worth having is ever easily gained. Right? Because it's worth having.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's not going to be given to you, right? Unless it's a blessing from God. And even God wants you to toil a little bit.
Yeah.
Wants you to actually appreciate it when you get it.
Yeah, sure.
And so that speaks to me as well. But it also reminds me about the work you have to put in to get that particular on the other side of hard. Right? So I think about Aristotle, who you heard me say this quote before. Excellence. It's not an event; it's a habit.
Come on.
You do it every single day a certain way to get to a particular result. Simple, and it might seem difficult, but it's a very simple philosophy, a very simple psychology. So yeah, it resonates with me as well. But I got to do things every single day.
Right.
I got to get into those routines and do something every single day to create what I want to have in the future is going to be beneficial to me.
Jairus, how hard is it battling Mr. Inconsistent? That thing that that want that you have. That Mr. Like, I'll do it. How do you battle? I'll do it on Monday.
Mr. Procrastination.
We're gonna do it on Monday.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. Being consistent is something that, like, you have to create a habit every single day, just like you were saying, and that's greatness when you're consistent. Like, when you can do the same thing over and over every day.
Come on.
And it feels like you're doing it for the first time every single day, and stay motivated and stay doing it the same exact way every single day. That says something about a person. But to beat Mr. Inconsistent, you just have to be a certain type of person. You got to have a purpose. You got to have some type of drive to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And if you are an inconsistent person and you're trying to gain that consistency, like what do? Like, do you just
you need help.
You need help. You need to.
Jake, can you talk about that a little bit too as well? About that part.
So for me, right, when I look at inconsistency, right, you gotta want to win. Mm-hmm. You gotta want it more than anything else, right? So because it's easy, the easiest thing to do is to remain the same and be inconsistent, right? Mm-hmm. But clearly that result is not what you want, what you aspire to be. So for me, to break the mode of inconsistency, you got to remember the reason that you started and where you want to go.
What's your why?
What's your why? Right?
Yeah.
And to break that mode, it takes 21 times repetitions to create
build a habit.
To build a habit, you got to do something 21 times, right? So you got to get comfortable in being uncomfortable to break the inconsistency. Because wherever you're comfortable at, you can grow. Because I've done it, because I was so inconsistent because it was the easy thing to do, right? I procrastinate, put that off. But you see, that don't get you nowhere, right? True. So you got to create that. You got to see where you want to go. I always, when I get something, I visualize what I want. Right? Mm-hmm. I don't worry about what it's going to take to get there. I just look at the end road, and I keep going. So the bumps gonna come, and you got to expect failures and setbacks. And when you got that mindset, I think when you expect the failures and setbacks, and one mentality that I always think about inconsistency. Anything that I lose on my path to succeed, I didn't lose anything. It was a lesson. That's what I look at. I've never lost anything I was supposed to have, and I mean nothing.
Okay.
And speaking of that, and just building on to the conversation and adding some more meat to it, you got to love where you are.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first step I went back to after I heard that quote. Where are you trying to get to? A destination I haven't ordained for you yet. Why are you trying to go all? You know you're not equipped to handle this. Start right here. Because if you was equipped to handle it, you would already had it.
Oh, can I chime in real quick?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So
that was good.
It's funny that you said that, right? Because several weeks ago, I was actually, you and I was having a conversation.
Absolutely.
At Joe's house, right? And the conversation we were talking, it kind of got reverted back to church, right? And for so long, I was asking him for something, right? And he would not. He's a permissive God now. He'll give you what you ask for, just so you can find out what you need. So,
ooh, that's good. That's a bar.
I'm just saying. So I was asking for something.
That's a bar.
So he didn't, and I was upset. Let's be for real. You get upset with God at times.
Yes.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
It's a relationship.
Why me?
It's a
Why is
relationship.
this taking so long?
It's a relationship.
Why is this so hard? Right?
Yeah.
So was I wrong for questioning him? So, but then I understood this, right? So I said this to him in my relationship, my talk to him. I don't think I'm crazy.
No, man.
I had this conversation.
No, you far from that. far from that.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hey, look, we are not perfect human beings.
I think about conversation with my father, and I answered, look at this guy. So and I said, well, God, through my courses of, and I'm not talking about, it wasn't overnight, and I'm still a work in progress. I said, well, why didn't I get that then? Because if I gave it to you, I would have had to kill you, right? It would have killed you.
Come on.
I put the, Steve, you have to repost this. I spoke about this, right? He said he 2 fish. They fed 5,000, right?
Come on.
But if I gave it to you 5,000, would you fed 2 people? Because all I could see was myself.
Wow.
So I wasn't ready for what I was asking for, and he knew it. So
Man.
I wasn't. I thought I knew what I wanted, but he knew what I needed.
Come on.
And at that point, I needed the growth. I needed the failure. I needed the setbacks. I needed to be so uncomfortable that I would break my inconsistent habits. He needed to put me in a situation where my tears became my meat. And when I came out, that I could only give the glory to him because I was giving it to man and people that filled me up. So he stripped me of every inconsistency, every habit, everything that I thought that would make me feel good, and made me bare, because I knew that my elevation required separation and isolation in order to elevate myself. So I knew it now where I'm at now. If he gave it to me then, I would have squandered it away, and he would have had to kill me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Whether it's be spiritual suicide, whether it's be the physical, either way, I wasn't prepared for it. Because if God gives you something and you don't do what he gave you to bless with, he removes that thing in which he gave you.
Yeah.
Listen.
That's real.
listen. Be grateful for what you have.
Take stock in life. Take
Helen Keller said this, and I seen this on an Instagram post, and I put it in my notes. She said, "I cried because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet."
Ooh. Yeah. Wow. Say that again for me.
I cried because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. Perspective. Challenge your perspective. Always. When I seen that, or I read that rather, I said, wow, I ain't missed no meal.
Right. Yeah.
What am I really complaining about? What is really wrong with me? My habits are wrong with me. God ain't withholding anything from us.
True. Can I say
and
something?
I'm not just, go ahead. And I'm not even just talking about, see, this is not a money conversation.
Yeah.
See, I'm talking about anxiety, depression, comparing yourself. See, I ain't talking about money because see, money is what it is. Go ahead, Jay.
Before you compare yourself to someone else's life and saying their success is my failure, you got to look at what you have around you. Like you got food, you got housing, you got shoes, you got limbs. You can do all of these things. I can run up and down the street. I can do whatever, right? But you're looking at someone that worked their ass off possibly to get the things, worldly things. And you're just like, oh man, I want to be like that or do that. And I don't. So I'm depressed. And so I'm just going to sit here in my apartment and just be sad or not, you know what I mean? Whatever. But look at where you're at. Look what you have, an apartment. You know what I mean? You have life. You have food to eat. And so appreciate that first before you prepare to, you know, and that's what's going to prepare you to get to the next level is appreciation.
Yeah.
And then you work for what you want. And then you can get all those things that the other person has that you was so jealous of or comparing yourself about. You know what I mean? So
Can I caveat on you?
for sure.
What he just said makes so much sense, right? So, you know, his perspective is phenomenal. I like it because you're looking at you crying in your apartment about something they got, and somebody else is wishing they could be in your. You complain about the smallest of things, and God said, "But I provided you everything you need, and you still ain't satisfied." So if you can't take the little, how can you handle the lot?
Yeah,
you know, and it's the thing about asking for more and then seeking to get more. You can't just ask God for it and not do the work. See, a lot of people want the success without the struggle. You know what I'm saying? They want the notoriety without going through the silent times and crying nights. I look at Tyler Perry all the time, right? So we all, and I see so much for everybody in, right? He was homeless at what, 37?
Yep.
Sleeping in his car. Steve Harvey, 37, sleeping in his car, right? So when people look like, dang, the gauge, society does this. They gauge off of somebody else's success. It is not everything has a time. I'm not married. God said, it ain't your time. I said, well, okay. Well, because when you jump out there and it didn't work, right? When it's your time, you will know it's your time. All you got to do is be still.
Yeah, because marriage got enough smoke for you anyway. That motherfucker waiting, right? Excuse my language. Listen, every problem you need, marriage got it for you. Am I lying? Can I listen? I'm
you gonna find it.
Listen, that was a fucking bar.
You gonna find out.
Yeah, marriage ain't going nowhere, big fella.
Hey,
I can promise you that.
Hey,
Separate the boys from the men right there, boy.
My couch available at the crib tonight. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you might have to. You got to deal with that. When you get to the crib. Just
comparison is
Make sure you edit this one good.
Yeah.
Nah, we ain't editing that shit, Tim.
Okay, he said leave that in there.
Nah, we leaving that in. Hell no.
My couch ready for real. My couch ready for real. You got.
But listen, check. But comparison is the thief of joy. Said by Teddy Roosevelt. Comparison it steals your joy.
Right.
You looking online and looking at somebody else. You looking at somebody else's life and you want their life. Why? The pivotal question, just ask yourself why. Because if you ask yourself why, then you'll be able to discover the things that happened to you that led you to that point. Ask tough questions. Mirror moment, not window moment.
Yep, exactly.
We need, especially in our community, it's time for mirror moments now. From everybody. While we're fighting the fight for equality and justice, we must at the same time have mirror moments.
Yeah.
Keegan, go ahead.
So can we consider comparison as envy?
That's not a consideration. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is. It is. It's covenant. You coveting. You envying this. Yeah.
Deadly sins, right? So, and that's what I look at it. When you compare yourself to somebody, it's envious of, and half the time we don't even know what we're comparing to.
That's true.
Hell, they living in that glass house, living in hell.
You don't know.
But you wishing you.
Now,
had.
let me say this: it doesn't even matter if they're living in hell or heaven. What you eat don't make me shit.
That's true.
Doesn't matter what the see. We got to get out of. We don't. We still take pleasure if somebody's still like we looking at it on Instagram and maybe they are happy and maybe they are posting a picture. That might be the case.
I don't believe in this.
No. What I'm saying is what I'm saying is we don't need to hang our hat on brother day. We thinking they're miserable. The fact that you comparing to begin with is an issue. That's the issue. It's the actual comparison, regardless of whether they're happy or not. Go ahead, Keegan.
Well, the reason why I think what he says is point, because you're right. The first thing is why you just can't be happy with what you have, right? That's the first thing. But I would say to what he's talking about is if they are house poor, if they are car poor, if they are in debt up to their eyeballs, check to check, but look like they have $1 million bucks in the bank. If you chase that right now, you will be just like them.
That's good. That's a bar.
That's what Jay is talking about.
Gotcha. That's good.
It goes right back to that.
In house poor and car poor debt.
Absolutely.
To look like them, so you can stunt and then not really have any commas in the bank.
None.
For sure.
Right? Check the check, hand to mouth. And then that one catastrophe happens, a COVID-19.
Gotcha.
Or 2008.
It exposes you. Exposes you.
Now you're done.
sure.
Show you who
Now
you
you
really
done.
are.
So emotional intelligence. You have to. We talk about business ownership. We talk about that a lot. What about emotional ownership? Men being able to explore how they feel and owning them while still being a man.
Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be vulnerable. I think it strengthens vulnerability when I say that.
Absolutely. So and we have to, and that's what I'm saying. Comparison. What comparison does is it takes away your ability to have control over how you feel, because now you've sunk your feelings into somebody else's life that you was never authorized to go. Sure. Like you're never supposed to be in somebody else's life or how they feel or what decisions they make.
Nah, not at all. No.
You did that on your own. You put yourself in their world on your own, and then subconsciously you created an idol. Because when you're looking at them, oh, they got this, they got that, I want that.
That's true.
What do you actually really want? I go back to it again. Find the reason why you feel like you feel. Keegan, let me go here for a second.
Sure.
And I'm gonna transition a little bit because I want this to go. We're gonna start talking about the stories in a minute because I'm excited about that because I want to give y'all ample time because we got two Negroes telling stories.
I'm trying to tell the condensed, bro.
Listen.
I'm gonna try.
I want to hear that one.
No, y'all got getting time.
Oh, we get to get into it.
Yeah, no, this y'all, baby.
I need you to get in.
I'm gonna go into every.
I need it.
For real, I need you to do the same.
Oh, brother, I got
Let's do it.
But before we do that though, Keegan, how do we begin to accept our past and move on? How do we move forward from the ails, from the mistakes, from the absolute egregious choices we've made? How is it that we move on from that and accept our past? Go through the grieving process and accept our past, meaning take full ownership of what you did and realize that thorn is still might be there. How do we accept that and move on?
That's a challenging question because I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. And so for me, it became an issue where I learned, it wasn't recent, but I learned a while ago, there's nothing I can break that God can't fix.
Come on.
Right? And once I really understood that, it became easy for me to accept when I did something wrong.
Right.
Because I knew I had forgiveness through grace and love. I knew I had mercy through God's love for me. I knew what was done on the cross. And so then I realized, okay, if I F up, he got me. Right. So now my goal is not to do it again. Now I'm trying to learn and become more Christ-like. But once I learned that I could not break nothing that he could not fix in my life or fix for others who I hurt, it became easier to accept my wrongdoing, right? And that was the learning, because you can't learn from a wrongdoing if you don't accept you actually did wrong.
That part.
If you're still justifying what you did, still excusing what you did, you don't think you did anything wrong, so you're not going to learn from it.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
I think pride.
Pride, yeah.
Pride.
For
Simple
sure.
as that. Pride. You don't want to be
It
wrong.
was the first sin ever, right?
First sin, that's where all sins come from.
Let me say this too. People, God, when the Bible talks about God and Lucifer in the exchange in heaven, there was no words exchanged. The Bible says it clearly. God found iniquity in his heart.
Yeah.
Your intentions drive the bus. God judges your heart. Your actions, for all intents and purposes, based on what you believe, is inconsequential. Where was your heart? Because that's what God looks at. See, if your heart is if you always got a motive, if you're always trying to get over on somebody, if you always got ulterior things that you're doing around people, you may succeed. You may go to the top.
Here.
You may look and say, oh, that's the life I want. But I guarantee you this, integrity will last the rest of your life. That will fade.
No question.
So,
So Steve,
Go ahead.
Point about from a Christian perspective, right? So what you're talking about, that's why faith is a heart issue.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a works issue. So we know we are saved by grace, right? So you can't boast. That's what James is talking about. People take the scripture out of context. They say, faith without works is dead.
Come on.
Right? But what James actually said was, show me your deeds. Show me your faith. I'll show you my faith by my deeds. Right? So to your point, once my heart is right, I'm going to do work, not because I can get salvation or something for it. I'm going to do it because my heart's right.
My heart desires.
There you
My
go.
heart's right.
You know, it's
I
crazy.
want to serve him because my heart's right. I'm going to give to you because my heart's right. I don't care about getting anything in return.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's it, right? See, and we live in such a we live in such a culture that is a quid pro culture.
Yeah.
Quid pro quo. This for that.
This for that.
Everything is this for that. This for that. You got to pay me for this. You got to pay me for this. You got to do this for this. You got to pay me for this.
Wash each of his face with all kinds of wash.
And I get it.
Stop that.
We got to live, but everything is a scratch your back. Everything is a scratch your back.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Jay.
My mother used to tell me this. I didn't understand it when I was younger, but I did now. She used to tell me about. She said, "Son, respect will take you places that money can't."
Yeah.
Come on, Jay. That's a bar.
My mother, I do. I play my mother. She used to tell me that all the time. I used to be like, what you talking about?
And then your phone ring.
And look,
And then your phone
and
ring.
it's my mom.
Look at God.
Look at God. And it's my mom.
God is amazing.
God is good. I put that on everything.
That's the spirit right there. That's the
Yeah,
spirit.
Absolutely.
And my mom told me that, and I honor her today. She must knew I was saying it because she called probably to tell me, son, respect take your place money can't. But she used to tell me that,
great word,
and that's a great word because at the end of the day, it's about how pure your heart is.
It is.
Because at the end, it's not that money. Like I would give my last, right? But giving your last dollar is worth what? That's something of a monetary value. Time.
Come on.
That's the biggest commodity.
Time is
man.
the biggest commodity because I can get these dollars back.
Yeah.
I can't give you time.
Time is a bitch. She ain't giving you nothing.
Nothing.
It's
Yeah, when
listen,
someone
bro.
gives you their time,
Time,
they love you.
they
or
will.
they can
Come
they wanna
on.
see you win.
Oh,
Come on.
Like, come on, man. Like,
I don't
I
take
can
it for
give you
granted.
$100, man.
Hey,
but
listen,
look,
listen.
If I take 2 hours out of my day to chill with you or just build with you, that's
it.
bigger than that $100, man.
You can make a buck.
For sure.
You can't make another hour.
Absolutely.
Simple.
Man.
Oh, no.
No matter
And
what
look,
you
and
do.
look, and we try to make time, yo.
You can't.
Like I try to go to bed at 3 in the
You can't
morning, try to
recreate
do
it,
this,
bro.
do that,
You
wake
can't
up at
recreate
6.
And
4 hours a day.
It's not gonna happen.
not gonna
But
happen.
to Jay's point about scripture in terms of that, what he just said. So Christ actually, what's the word I want to use? I can't get the right word, but he actually talked about the Sadducees who gave in abundance, tithing and whatnot, because they had it to give. But he said the lady that gave her last shekel was worth maybe a couple of pennies, but gave her last shekel. Her heart was more pure than the guys who given thousands of dollars because they had it.
For sure.
Right? When you give out of your last, that's where your heart's really at. That's where your
What
heart's really
what
at.
God is really saying
not selfish.
before we
Give from a deficit.
before we
Give from a deficit.
before we transition, but what God is really saying, and I love that, Keegan.
I love that. I love it.
Money is the god of this world. He says it in the Bible. You either serve God or mammon. You can't
Can't do both.
Can't do both.
Can't do both.
So what he's saying is he's trying to move. Listen, money's not bad. It's a tool.
Absolutely. Money,
It's a tool.
We need money.
It was always meant to be a tool.
Yep.
Whether back in the day where they trade and barter for cattle, whether when it was gold, now it was physical money. Now we go into digital currency.
Byproduct.
That's all it is.
It's a byproduct.
What do you do when you get it? Where's your heart?
Absolutely.
You can't serve me in that. Your heart can't be pure if you a slave to that. Doesn't mean don't get a lot of it, because I want a lot of it. Don't get me wrong now.
Because the thing is, you could be a billionaire and then just make a difference, right?
Absolutely.
Make a huge difference. You can try to like find cure for cancer. You can try to do whatever to with your money. You know what I mean? To make good in the world. Or you could just be an evil person and just not share your money and just go to outer space for no reason.
Now you throwing shots. Hey, bro, I ain't got no listen.
I don't know how I feel about
you
that.
try to get us shut down.
I don't know.
Hey,
I'm
bro,
sorry.
you try to get us. Listen, they got too much money right now.
That was a spot he was going for.
Listen, wait till we get a hold of the industry first
But I'm just,
before you say
look,
that.
Keegan, I'm just gonna say, bro, if I get $1 billion, I'm not trying to go to the. Come
I
on, man.
co-sign.
Let's help somebody. And the thing
You
is,
can
I
help
don't.
folks down here.
Yeah.
They're going tomorrow.
Or
I'm with
you
I
get a
co-sign.
$500 million yacht that has a mini yacht with it just to put your helicopter on.
Yeah.
You can't get a
got a
helipad.
yacht
'cause
coming
it's
out of the
sales.
yacht.
Hey, listen,
A yacht
before-
coming out of your
Listen,
yacht.
it ain't. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a band with you. You're thinking broke. It ain't tricking if you got it. But listen, you're thinking broke. You just told us stop thinking broke.
We're not
Listen,
mad at him, man.
look,
we're not
listen.
mad at him. We just not trying to go to space. We just saying there's people down here that need space.
Yeah.
Come on, let's be
Hey,
real.
who knows? He may have done all these wonderful
Listen.
things. You know, on the
I'm just saying.
that hasn't been.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Listen, these guys want to race to space. They just playing different. We race cars. They race spaceships.
Man.
But anyway, but here we go.
Shit, I'm racing a bicycle, bro.
So we got two. Keegan, we got two.
We're not comparing either though, so I just want
Why
you
you
to
keep
know.
cutting me off?
I just want to let you know that.
I'm trying to introduce you. I'm trying to introduce you, Negroes.
Oh my God.
So Keegan, we got two special guests here, man.
Special.
And so, guys, I want to tell the deep surface listeners, and I appreciate you guys' support, that we doing a little different format. We're gonna have our other podcast still on Thursdays, the same way we do with our guys in our men's meeting, and we'll do more of a smaller venue here to tell the stories of some incredible black men that's done some great things. But Keegan, we got two guys here, man, and that I admire. I know both of these guys for a long time, and I have learned, grown, cried. They know everything about me. I know everything about them. There's nothing withheld in this room. They have supported me in times that I didn't even tell them I needed support. That's what friends are. See, friends are there for you even when you don't ask.
That's true.
No question.
You better know the difference between your friends and your acquaintances.
Oh.
You better understand the difference between them, because a friend is something different. But these guys, man, for me have been amazing, unbelievable. I bring them around my kids, Keegan, and my wife and my family. Listen, you don't do that to everybody.
No, you don't.
You can't do that.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. We got to learn. Listen.
not supposed to.
There's a decorum about that you need to carry with yourself. I'm introducing you, bro.
I ain't said nothing.
You like you about to say something.
I guess he saw your hand though. He was like,
He about to say something. I'm just kidding. You see what I'm saying? We brothers, bro.
We are.
Nah.
I was gonna tell you this though. Hey, yo,
And look, I felt the energy too. I knew something about something.
because you said a word though. You know what what helps you to distinguish your friendship, even if you can't get discernment on your own.
Come on.
Hard times.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What?
That's where they show up.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
That's where they show up.
For sure.
That's where they show up.
That's it.
Yeah,
So I want to start with you, Jairus.
for sure.
Let's just jump right into it. We need
Let's go.
Okay.
no chaser.
Let's go. Straight shot, no chaser.
Would you, Jairus? So tell us a little bit about your childhood, man. How did you grow up? Where did you grow up at, my boy?
I'm from Durham, North Carolina.
Bull City.
Bull City. And so born and raised there.
Central.
Yeah, Central. Born and raised there. Durham was all I knew.
What kind of upbringing did you have? Like, were you What you guys in? A pretty normal family. What kind of
normal
childhood did you
family.
have?
Mother and father there. I got 2 older sisters. I'm the baby, and so I had a lot of guidance around me. Our house, so I kind of had the best of both worlds because we lived in a nice neighborhood.
Okay.
But literally across the street was the projects. So
Really?
I can come out of my house and decide what I wanted to do that day. So I go to the left. This is the Pinecrest Apartments. Go over there, get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Do whatever I want, slap box fight, all this stuff. Or I can go to the right and go hang out with my other friends that was like riding bikes and jumping ramps and doing that. So I was literally I could do whatever I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
So let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
Did you know what atmosphere did you know the climate of what you were in at that time? Did you realize it?
As a kid, it's normal. You just living. As a kid, it's all fun to me. Like, oh, okay, I can just do this. But I didn't realize what was going on. So
that's crazy. So you grew up in Durham. You grew. Did you go to what did you go to high school at?
Yeah, so I went to 2 high schools. I went to Southern High and I graduated from Hillside High.
Why you go bad little kid?
I was
ain't
a bad
you?
little kid.
Let
me say
Detention,
that.
little baby.
I wasn't
Detention,
really bad.
baby.
I wasn't really bad. I was just kind of rebellious. You know what
Gotcha.
I'm saying? And so like Southern High School, they had this 4x4 schedule, and I couldn't graduate on time because I was like skipping school. And doing
Dummy
all
little
this
boy.
other stuff. Yeah, exactly. And so I had to go to Hillside where they had 6 classes so I can get my credits and graduate on time and all that. And the thing is, Hillside was different because they had gangs and people jumping each other, and that's when I first really got introduced to Blood and Crip. And
Did you ever join a gang?
no, I never did.
What kept you out of it?
Well, I was gang. Let me just say this: kind of gang affiliated at some point.
Steve got a wire on his leg.
Yeah.
I don't be no snitching, bro.
I ain't gonna say gang affiliated.
I don't be no snitching, bro.
And you know what? I'm gonna take that back too because I'm not even gonna label myself like that, but I did hang out with some gang members.
So let me ask, how did you, like, coming from the house you did? That's why I asked you about the atmosphere. How did you get acquainted with that side, or what attracted you to that life?
School, bro, and just people in the
Influence.
neighborhood. And so, like, my house, I came from a loving home. Like, my dad was there, my mother was there. They both cared for me. My dad was hard on me. He was
Gotcha.
a military Vietnam vet. Made me brush my hair every day.
That's why you got the waves,
bro.
That's why you Dipset Taliban. Oh, we ain't gonna skip over that. That's why you Dipset over there.
Like, he made
Go
me
ahead.
do things. He made me come and work with him. He made me hang sheetrock with him, and so I appreciate my dad. My mom was a loving mother at the house.
Come on, give her her
cooking,
flowers.
all that. Yeah, I give both of them their flowers. You know what I mean?
Wow.
They was amazing parents, but I could go outside and pick what I wanted to do. I can hang out with my boy X-Man over here. He's doing life in jail right now. Or I can hang with someone else. Like, I can't think of his name right now, but ride bikes with him. So it's just like,
You must have
I
had
can
fun
figure it
doing it
out.
because you remember X name. You didn't remember Ride Bike.
yeah,
guy.
I had fun. I had fun hanging with X-Man. His name was X-Man.
You must
So
be
that
hanging
was
with
my
X. Listen, they said Ride Bike guy. I can't remember
His name.
I don't know him.
But
That
yeah,
was
man. But growing up was it was good, bro.
So you got older, you start working. I met. So here's the thing. So me and Jairus met. I was Jairus' manager at Verizon.
Yeah.
So Jairus, I don't know if Jairus, you ain't like, we didn't get along at
I
first.
didn't get along with you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't like
folks
any.
don't,
I didn't
Jairus.
like.
He ain't like nobody, but Jairus was a little asshole, bro.
Yeah.
He
I was very different.
certified
I was,
asshole.
bro.
This nigga was an asshole. Excuse me, I ain't mean to say nigga.
Special
And you
guest,
know where that
Jerry
came
is here.
from,
He's an
though?
asshole. Yeah.
Because I don't want to like skip anything. But by the time I met you, I had started making money. I started being this person that was superficial. So that's why, like, when you came in, and I was like, who's this nigga? Like, this is my store. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I already don't like the other managers in that store. I just didn't like management. That's how I knew that I was going to be a business owner, because I just didn't like management. I'm like, nobody tell me what to do, go to lunch, do this, do that. And so I liked you, though, because all this dude got swag. He cool, he funny, but he's my manager, so I'm just going to be like, no, I don't really like this nigga.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta respect
But then,
that.
yeah.
You gotta
So
respect that.
so that was it. That was the reason why.
And I think with men, and I'll say this and I'll pause and say this, you know, when you dealing with a high value man or a man who has respect for himself or has some type of inkling knowing where he's going, listen, you have to show yourself approved.
For sure.
Like, I had to work hard. Like,
did,
I
bro.
wanted to earn the respect of him and my homeboy Zay, which y'all gonna see soon, which is doing well right now, doing great. But that we kind of a circle of friends. But I had to make sure, like, okay, I want the respect of these guys. Like these guys are professional. These guys are showing themselves to be something formidable. So you were an example to me at that time. So even though I was a manager at that time, I looked at you guys for guidance. But this ain't about me. Anyway, back to you.
So I couldn't tell, but go ahead,
I'm
Jerry.
telling you, hey, listen, he always gonna make a way to get that shine, though.
That's his.
Advertising guru, bro.
He is a guru, bro. He can't do nothing but respect Steve.
He's always gonna circle back to him.
No. I ain't like that. No. Everybody circle back to themselves.
No, don't stop it.
We don't want to have that conversation with people. We are American. Listen,
It's about Jairus.
We all men. We all men at the end of the day.
Only Cowboys fans do stuff like that.
stop it. And we winning the Super Bowl this year.
See my point.
Are you
My
willing to
point.
put that bet?
Moving
It's
on.
about
Oh, boy, you
Moving
keep it
on,
like
Jerry.
moving on.
But listen, so
what I
Jay,
end up
you were here at doing well. You kind of get to the end of it, and for everybody who don't know, Jerry's right now, and we're gonna build to that. But Jerry's, man, listen, where you are now and where you were then. So let's start talking about. You get to the end of your career at VZW.
Right.
Things are going. You're thinking to yourself like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then it happened.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Yeah, so working at Verizon, and so I'm making good money. And the reason why I really got into real estate is because Verizon helped me buy my first house,
Absolutely.
making good money. And so a realtor came into the store and paid her bill with me, and I was just like, and Zay, we talked about Zay.
Yeah.
He's the one that helped me kind of like, yo, you need to, because he bought a house first. We all bought a house kind of at the same time. And so I kind of emulated what he did. And so I got my credit together. Realtor came in the store, paid her bill. I said, look, I need guidance on help buying a house. She gave me the guidance. I got pre-approved. And I went to look for my house by myself, not knowing the process. And then so I'm in the builder's office, and I'm doing the contract work. And he's like, where's your realtor? And then so, I call her, and I'm like, yo, the dude said you need to come down here. She's like, make sure my name is on the contract and all that. And so I'm like oblivious of like how it all works. And so, make a long story short, she, we get to the closing table, we got on the contract and all that. We get to the closing table, and I saw how much money she made. She made like, this is back in 2012. So she made like $6,000. And so I'm like, okay, I'm making good money at Verizon. I'm making maybe $85,000 a year, $90,000 a year. So I'm like, okay. So this lady, she made $6,000, and she didn't really do anything. Shout out to Gloria Jarhan. You did enough.
That was your unicorn.
Yeah,
from
that was
God,
my
though.
unicorn.
That
So I
was your
appreciate
unicorn
it.
from God.
For real.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
so I'm counting her pockets. I'm like, yo, if she does this 2 times a month, she's making like $145K a year. And I was like, damn. So if she does this 4 times a month, she's making this. Like, yo. So I could possibly make $250,000 a year or more. No ceilings, no cap. No cap. Like no ceilings, no cap.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Bars.
Yeah.
Bars. That's a lot of bars in here right now.
Subtle.
So I got subtle, bro. But I got a possibility that I could do that. And so like that's what really gave me the interest, but still I ended up still staying at Verizon for a little bit longer. And Verizon's money got funny. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start this process of get my real estate license. And then, so it was tough trying to get the license. The exam was really hard, like extremely hard. And so I failed twice, and then I actually passed on the last time. I passed.
Did you want to ever quit?
I passed barely. I did. At one point I was like, maybe it's not for me.
What made you not quit after that second
Because I
failure?
really wanted to do it. And like I would go into work and I was like, I don't like it here. And then so I was like, so I went back and started studying again, and then I passed. And so,
Wow.
Make a long story short, how hungry I was to get out of Verizon, bro. Like this is where the hunger and the work starts at right here. It's like I'm at Verizon working, and you see a lot of customers coming in throughout the day. And I wasn't supposed to be doing this, but I'm passing my business cards out on the low to customers. As I'm selling them a phone, I'm like, yo, I sell real estate too. And it actually worked. And so I got a client while working at Verizon. On my lunch break, I would go and show them houses. I would change into a full suit and go and show a house, and then come back, change back to my Verizon uniform late. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was you at? Don't worry about where I was at. And so I think that's what possibly got me fired, but I don't really know. They said it was because of a bad survey or something I got from a client, but whatever. So 11 years down the drain, working for a company.
Not down the drain.
Not down the drain.
Well, not down the drain. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Oh, you learn a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah, 11 years of just working for the man, and they got rid of me just as a number. Like you're replaceable. So that's another thing that made me say, you know what? Well, God really helped me decide because I got fired, and so I had no choice but to just go this direction.
Yeah.
And so that was a blessing. And so anyway, I was like, I got it. There's no plan B at this point. Like I have to make this work. And so like even back then I visualized myself being a Caldwell Banker or a Keller Williams or a Berkshire Hathaway. I was like, I'm going to be the first black. I ain't gonna say first because I'm pretty sure there's other black men out there, but I want to be. Yeah, I want to be one of the first huge black-owned real estate firms. I'm talking about all over. And so back then I had that attitude, you know what I mean? And I had that drive. And so, but I had to start. So I got to start as a regular broker, you know what I mean? Which that's still not regular because you can make a lot of money doing that too. But I had to start as just a realtor. So I signed up for a real estate firm. I had already signed up for a real estate firm, but because I was doing both when I was working at Verizon. But anyway, I had to go full time doing that. And so this is when stuff got really hard. I sold my house. I was going through something with my my ex's, my daughter's mother. I was going through that. I was going through, I ran through my money because my lifestyle, because I was making decent money. So my lifestyle really didn't change. I went and got an apartment after I sold my house and paying $1,700 a month for an apartment. I want to wear Burberry every day. I want to go party and do this, and I want to travel. So my life, I quickly depleted my funds. You know what I mean? I was just trying to stay the same way that I was when I was working at Verizon while still, chasing this real estate thing and gain clients. And so I did gain, I still made some money in real estate because I started getting clients, and you was actually one of my clients that helped me through that. And so, and so it kind of was snowballing a little bit, but it's still not enough. I probably made like maybe $35,000 my first year, but I still had money from Verizon. And so I depleted that. And so it got really tough. And then I had to give up my apartment. I got evicted. And so that's test number one. God said, I'm going to take this away from you. All right, cool. And so I shit you not. Excuse me. I kid you not. I kid you not.
You're amongst adult men.
Bro,
amongst adult men.
I kid you not, bro. I probably had, I don't know, maybe $450 in the bank. Right? My dumb ass go to, oh, man. My dumb ass go to New Orleans for Essence Fest. Bro, in the midst of everything, bro.
First and foremost, how the hell did you make it down there?
I had a credit card. I had a credit card, and then I had another account where I withdrew money, and I fucked up the account. Like, you know how you could just take money out of it?
Yeah.
So I took the $400 out I had from the good account, and I think they was going to let me take like $500 or something out of that one. But so I'm in the negative with that one. So I had maybe like a band and a half, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I made it out there, and I had a good time. I was like, in the midst of the storm, hey, I'm going to live in the midst of the storm.
Listen, this nigga went out on a ship. This nigga stood in front of the cops, go and shoot me.
I was making some wild decisions, bro. Like just being stupid because I want to keep up. And then it's like both my baby mamas came together. It seemed like, and they just both put me on child support. So boom, another something. So it's just like, damn. All right. So I got all of this going on. I'm still working my ass off. I'm not making any money. I gotta move. Like the guy that has everything, I gotta move back to my parents' house. Do you know how humbling it? The same room that I grew up in. I didn't have a bedroom set there no more. Of course, I had to sleep on the floor for a couple of days. That's hard. And I was selling your house while that was going on, I believe. And
I didn't even know that.
And you could. I kept a positive attitude.
Come on.
I stayed in my purpose. I was professional with my clients. But in the background, my account's in the negative. My car is about to get taken. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, like I just did it though, because God just pushed me through. So it didn't even seem like
How
Like,
low?
it didn't seem like a crisis to me when I was working.
But
But when I got back home, it was like, okay, I'm in a crisis. I got to figure this shit out,
How low did you get doing that? Because I can't even imagine.
bro. Depression, doubt, looking in the mirror and just saying, "Are you enough?" So many things, bro.
One thing
so,
you just said,
super
Jairus,
dark,
people got to
dark
understand
times.
something. You can be a functioning depressed person,
Absolutely.
right? And we don't know it, and we are slowly but surely cutting off all of our soul and spirit when you go through that. But go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Make sure that people know that.
It's wild, bro. You got to be a strong person, man. And so I got through. And so what happened? So back to my parents' house. Car got taken away, and so car got repoed. I'm out here working. I had to use my parents' car for a little bit, and then so this is when actually, even sometimes your own parents look at you like, what's going on with you? Right. Like my dad looked at me and was like, "Yo, you need to get a job at McDonald's or something." That hurt me so bad. And so it's like, dang, you look at me like that, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, you don't believe in what I'm trying to do right here?
It fueled you. I'm sure
Yeah,
it
like,
fueled you.
it fueled me. And so what happened after that? And so what did happen? So I'm grinding, I'm working, I'm doing whatever. I ended up getting a car, by the way. And so like I was able to go to like one of these buy here, pay here places and get a job.
45% interest rate.
And just keep in mind.
Bang.
Keep in mind.
Rotten though.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had a Camaro 24s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the hottest thing on the street at the time. You know what I mean?
They took the rims too?
Yeah, they took the whole car, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they took the whole car.
What, the rims paid for?
They took the pay for it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the rims are paid for.
I took the rims, bro. It was bad.
The rims are paid for.
Nah, I'm gonna get them.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you, bro. Like, you find yourself like in a. This is why, like, bro, like, how can I say this? Like, I was selling off stuff. I was selling clothes. I was selling shoes. Like the items that I accumulated when I had money, I was selling those things. Chains, watches. I was doing whatever I had to do to survive. Right. And my pride. That's another thing about pride. Is like, you don't want to really ask anybody. Yeah. So you gotta deplete everything. Like before like nice watch. Like, you know what I mean?
You
so
suffer in silence.
Yeah, I had a nice $5,000 watch, a tag watch, and I was just like, I didn't want to get rid of it because it was like a trophy to me. I had to get rid of it, and so I say that just to say, like, I depleted everything, but I still went to work. I knocked on doors, I sent out mailers, I talked to everybody about real estate. I stayed positive, okay, and then so I was at the brokest of broke. I'm talking about like down to like when I was in high school type broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's broke. As a 33-year-old man, 34, I think I was 33, 34, 35, something like that. Yeah, I was 33. And so, and that's why I'm married to my wife now, because she accepted me when I was broke.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah. Like when I was broke.
And I'm gonna come back to your successes
I couldn't
too.
buy my wife a cheeseburger.
And I want everybody to digest the thoughts he had.
With just that last point he made, people need to eat that for a second.
Yeah.
Say what?
That she was with you when you had nothing.
Yeah.
She was in the gym.
I had a few designer clothes and stuff like that, so I can like kind of get her. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. And I made a few real estate checks, but it wasn't enough because, you know, the firm I work for, they was taking so much of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I might get a $10,000 check, but I might only make like $5 out of it. They had a crazy commission split, like $4,500 after like
Commission.
It was
You
all said and done.
got to pay your rental fee.
So I want to go to Jay now. But I'm gonna come back to you,
cool.
and I want you to tell people where you are now.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't want people to miss this.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, Keegan, you always tell me this. Participate in your own rescue.
Amen.
That equals work.
It does.
You have to be the sunshine in your own storm.
You do.
You got to be. That's what work is. It's actually shining through your own storm. That's it. So, Jay, I'm going to go to you for a second, my boy.
Yes, sir.
You grew up in VA, right?
So, I was born in South Carolina.
Oh, you born in South Carolina?
Yeah, born in South Carolina.
What part of South Carolina?
Sumter, small town, Sumter.
Okay, you from Job. That's what
Y'all
John
didn't know
from.
that. Y'all didn't know each other.
Yeah,
So.
JB, listen, this.
Lived all over DC, VA. So, yeah, I was born down there. I was raised in the church as a lot of us, right? My mom and father separated when I was young. My stepfather raised me. God rest in peace. Greatest man I know. God honest truth. My stepfather, greatest man I know.
Wow.
Taught me what true love was. To love people. I always use this and say this: my love doesn't change by circumstances, but it changes circumstances. So,
Come on.
he taught me that. He taught me that. So that agape, that everybody so much want to do. He taught me that. So when he passed away, I honor him. He died in 2003, but he was a great man. So
Yeah.
I joined the military at 17 years old.
Okay.
I did 10 years in the military, right? So military, I'm young, wow, I'm doing whatever. So me and Steve met through the barbershop, right?
Yeah.
And
How long were you out of the military?
Boy, I tell you.
I was out of that barbershop, something different.
Yeah, it is.
I was out of the military, so I'm gonna back it up real quick. So I got out of the military, and it's crazy how things work, right? Because currently where I'm at in the world, I was there 18 years ago. 2003, I was in Kuwait when the war first started. War started on March the 3rd, 2003. I was there February 14th, 2003. I did my 10 years. I got out. So when I left VA, I got out. I worked overseas. I worked in Iraq for 2.5 years. So I'm making money. I'm getting to it. You know what I'm saying? So when I came to Charlotte, I was cool. I was in school, going to college. Uncle Sam was paying me a disability. I was cooling. I was getting my VA check. So met Steve. Them. I was living it up,
Killing them.
killing them. You know.
Brow.
Yeah.
Brow.
Then I met somebody, right?
Okay.
And so the thing about the heart, I'm gonna start about the heart. So my heart will keep you in places that common sense tell you to leave a long time ago.
No question.
So I tell people when they use that word love, you gotta use it loosely, because God created you in the image of Himself to love, right? So love is God, but love, you are in the image of Him. So if you don't love oneself, then you don't love Him. That's why they talk about suicide as one of the ultimate sins of unforgiveness, because
Absolutely.
I created you in my image, and if you don't care enough about me to survive and live, and that I can bring you through whatever you are, you took it upon yourself to end your life. So I got involved with somebody, and it started off good, you know what I'm saying, and then it turned ugly really quick. So much so where I put them above myself and everything else, right? I got an older daughter that's she turns 23 this year in September. So our relationship was strained because I was neglecting my daughter to put everything into a woman or this person. So I'm telling you, Jay, when you talk about losing it all in the pride, I know everything about that. Because I came down here, I wasn't working, so I was living off my money from Iraq, and I quickly blew through it because I wanted to sustain and to make sure she ate even if I couldn't. So we moved into a crib. So we moved into this house, and I always say that I will always say I'm gonna do better than I did next year. You talk about that social media. I got to make sure they got the crib. Let me show them how to get a crib. Oh, they got the whip. Man, let me go get me a new whip. I was living like that. I was out there just trying to, and the whole time me thinking that this is love, but actually it's not. So, because love doesn't boast and love doesn't hurt, and love is understanding, love is forgiving. So I ended up losing it all, right? It was to a point where I was living out of my car. It was a point where I was afraid of the nighttime. I was more comfortable in the day. And the reason I said I was afraid of the nighttime, because at night I didn't know where I was going to go.
Had no bedroom.
I was afraid of the nights because I had to figure this thing out, like where I'm going to go. Can't tell my friends because they met me at this level, right? But little do they know, those days that I was living in hell at home. Days we were shooting basketball at the gym I had a home, but it was actually hell. So it got to a point where I had ended up, I think I was working for Spectrum. supposed to be selling cable. I wasn't really good at it. I ain't one. Listen, I would do knocks.
Supposed to be.
You supposed to be out doing knocks. I wake up in the morning, knock on the iPad. I wanted it, but I didn't want to put the work in. I was just waiting on that call to go shoot basketball. Hey, we balling today, or we gonna have a drink. It was times when we go out to eat, and I'd be like, damn, I hope one of them got me, and they did. You know, unbeknownst to them, that was just them being my friend. But do they know that I was going through hard times? Yeah. And you know, and the whole time, I was still giving her the little that I have. I was still getting a check. I was giving her the little I have. I was on couch to couch, and then I think I got locked up in what year was this? 2000 and Steve, what year was it? Maybe 16,
17.
16 or 17. Me and my oldest daughter, you know, we was going through it. The relationship was straight. I was actually in Killian Road in South Carolina.
North side.
Yep.
Know where you
arguing
at?
with her, made a U-turn. Bam. Pulled me over. Told me I had warrants, right? So I'm like, warrants? What? I knew I had one. But I had just got my license back to my defense. I knew I had got my license and shit.
So I knew it.
I'm thinking I'm good. So we come back and say, you had warrants. So they locked me up. So, you know, I got out on the PR on the first time, right? So when I got out, the sheriffs was waiting outside. Took me to another jail.
Yeah.
In like the country, in like Kershaw County. So, you know, they locked me up out there.
Kershaw.
Isn't
that low country?
Low country, out there in Camden. So when I got bailed out, now I don't have no license. I'm pending this. My friends, they know something by now. They know something is going on, but they don't know what. So and God is this good because it's always been. It was Tap, Steve, Don, Ralph, and who else was it? I think that's what's it, right? So as I'm going through it, now I'm still loving on somebody that God told you. I asked God, and this is how God worked. So one morning I asked God for a sign. If this ain't for me, give me 3 signs. You heard what I said, right?
If this ain't.
I asked God for a sign. If this ain't for me, give me 3 signs.
I'm laughing because you asking God for signs, right?
I asked him, right?
He already gave you signs, but go ahead.
Oh, I gave you one, but you didn't see that one, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You blind. So that morning I was getting up to go to work and her phone was on the bed, right? Text message come through. Hey, I'm glad I got to see you last night.
Oh man.
I'm like, that was the first sign, right? I'm like, whoa.
That's a gut punch.
Whew, God, I said a sign.
Damn.
I said, don't set the house on fire. Just give me. You could have gave me the smoke detector, but he gave me the house on fire,
Pop
right?
goes the weasel.
So
Got him.
and then our phones linked.
Ooh.
And then I could see the movements on it. So that was my second sign, right? That was the sign. And then the third one was when she told me I had to leave.
Oh man.
So I always say, careful what you ask for because now you got to face the signs they give you. What you gonna do with it? So I left. You know, I kept my stuff in the back of the car. I was staying on people's houses. It was the point where my meals would come from Quick Trip because I knew that the hot dogs and the Pepsi would cost me $3.19, and I knew that with this $20, and I knew, and I had Navy Fed, and I knew if I pumped gas on a Friday, I could pump as much as I want.
Wow, man.
Because on that Monday, they would withdraw it and then it would put it on the negative. So I could fill it up because it would take a dollar initially. So, you know, I was living on the edge. And then one day at the barber, Tap used to cut my hair for free because he knew where I was at. Because, you know, he just look at it. And another thing about D shop, D used to give me credit on clothes. I used to walk in the shop and get clothes and come back and pay them. So the struggle I was going through, I was still in the struggle, but still denying God, telling me to walk away, right? So one day, Tap and Steve and Don and all of them came to me. They said, hey, listen, you need to meet us at Steve's house tonight. Ralph, I'm like, for what? I'm like, listen, I'm a man. Like, we don't do handouts. And there's little handouts. This ain't a handout. This is a hand up.
Amen.
Come on.
Wow.
This is not a handout. This is a
Come
hand
on.
up. I walked in that house that day. I never forget this. They said, here. They gave me like $1,000. Go get your driver's license reinstated. Go get you a hotel. Get you some food. Whatever you need, we got you. I would never forget that day. And I never told them my story. I never said nothing to them about it. Steve would always say to me, bro, what's going on? I'd be like, I'm straight. He's like, oh, okay. See, your friends ain't gonna pressure you when they know you're going through stuff, right? I was living through hell.
Come
This
on.
woman was dealing with a whole different person. I knew it. This woman would lay in the house with me at night, talk on the phone. I knew it. My focus wasn't on what would better me. My focus was on, well, let me make her better. But she living her life, but I was really down. It was to the point where I wanted to end it all. And that's when I figured out that you can't love something more than you love yourself. That thing that you place above God, because if you're willing to take your life for something, that means you love that thing more than you love God, and he would take that away from you.
And because you're made in the image.
Yeah.
You're his creation.
Yeah.
That's why he made every single one of us unique.
Yeah.
Nobody's the same for a reason. So you can be the original version of yourself. Let's tie a bow together. Go ahead, Keegan.
Take it to the commandments. You will not have what? No other gods before
For me.
Ooh.
And you will not make idols for yourself in heaven or in what? Earth.
I did all that.
You did all
Because
that.
he's not a me. Not
Jay,
because he's
but
a,
you're not the only one who's done that. We all have. We all have. Including myself.
yeah, and not because he's a mean. Not because God is mean. Because he understands if you don't love yourself, you have no ability to love anybody else. And then if you don't have ability to love somebody else, you're susceptible to be manipulated.
Yeah.
Now you be up here. You up here spending years.
You become who? You can become like who? You no longer like Christ. You're like who? Lucifer.
Absolutely, a lover of yourself.
Put years in something that he told me to leave.
So let's round this out before we end it. Jairus.
I want to know where they both at.
That's what I'm about to do now. See, now I wanted you to hear the process
I wanna
because
know
the
that.
process is the most
Process is
important
crazy.
part.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go all into the result because it's still a work in progress.
Oh, absolutely.
So I wanted to tell you that the result really, winning does not care at all. Winning, either you're going to do what it takes to get winning or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't care. It's going to keep running from you till you deserve it. Jairus, before we go, I want you to tell people right now, because you went from having nothing. You went from being at your mom's house.
Yeah.
Jairus, right now, what do you do?
Well, owner and broker in charge of Walker Realty Group. That's my firm. And so we cover
Owner and broker in charge. Clap.
Yeah, absolutely. Clap that shit up. Look at God, man.
Jairus.
Yes, sir.
How many? Listen. How many agents do you have under you?
I have 10 agents under me. We cover Charlotte, of course, and then Triangle and also Greensboro. So,
God multiplied.
Yeah, God
he didn't
multiplied.
add, he multiplied.
Like I said, I knew that I was going to be here when I first started. And so I just chased that vision, just like you said earlier. Like, I projected myself to the end result, which I'm still not done. And I was like, I'm chasing that. Everything that comes in between is just motion. You know what I mean?
Hey,
and Jairus.
Steve, didn't God give Job more than what he had before?
Come on.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes our vision is too small.
And I'm going to tell you, Steve, it was tough, bro. It was tough.
Yeah, sometimes God be like, nah, bruh.
Yeah.
That ain't what I got for you.
Yeah.
You keep thinking too small. Yeah. Listen, whatever in the world agitates you, bothers you, stay on your heart, run to that thing.
Yeah.
Run to that thing and get the biggest possible result out of you changing the thing that agitates you the most. Go ahead, Keegan.
So to your point, Jairus.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you pay tuition for education in different ways. Yes, it's not
Come
all
on.
about cutting a check to a college.
That's good.
You pay.
That was crazy.
You get in the clap.
You pay tuition in different ways.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
And sometimes what you go through is your tuition.
Absolutely.
To learn. Because what you said it earlier, Nelson Mandela said, I don't lose, I learn.
Yeah.
But the losses cost you something.
Absolutely.
It's just tuition.
Sure.
It's just because you're sitting here right now and you're winning.
And you look good too, my boy.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you do.
Everybody,
You look like a bad.
You look good.
You look
Everybody
good.
look good.
Hey, and Jay, tell the people right now, you were in a situation, you was feeling like this and feeling like that, and now you ain't have a nickel to rub together. But tell the people what you are now.
All right, so currently I'm the operations manager for the Middle East.
You don't even live. Oh, you got out
Steve. He's
Oh,
not
you
domestic.
got off American soil.
He's not domestic. He's not domestic. He's international.
I had to leave. I had to isolate myself to preparate myself to elevate myself. So right now I'm the operations manager for Southwest Asia, the Middle Eastern, for the Department of Defense.
DOD.
Wow, man.
Yeah. So I work for a company that's called Amentum, and they're contracted through the DOD. So I deal with everything concerning the Middle East. It's only so much I can say on the mic, but so right now I got currently the project that I'm currently over has over 800 employees on it.
Wow.
My direct office has over 15 employees on it. I'm the number 3 guy on my contract. So I started at the bottom when I came over there. I just accepted anything to get in the door.
There you go.
And I was passed over for things that I knew I deserved, but it was always about, as anywhere who you know. So I just stayed focused and understood what I wanted. And I didn't get distracted by what they wanted to. I didn't allow them to give me what they wanted me to have. I took what I wanted. So I knew when I got to it, and it was crazy because how I got here, I wasn't even seeking it because the position that I'm currently in, when I first hit the contract, I tried to just be an analyst. And when I sent it to a guy, he said, nah, your resume ain't good enough. I said, oh, my resume is not good enough. So I just stayed focused, kept doing it. Then like 6-7 months later, the guy came back to me. He said, hey, I want you to come up here and work in my office. And I was like, and I declined him. I said, no, because when I was first came, you ain't want me. Now you see what I can do. You want me. I said, no, I'm good. He was like, no. I said, no. And me and the guy actually good now. So, and then like a year and a half, I got promoted. I got passed over for promotion. Then I got promoted. So then my project manager, which is over the whole project, came to me one day. He said, hey, I want you to be my operations manager. I said, nah, I'm good. I'm comfortable. I said, I'm good. I didn't say I'm comfortable. I said, no, I don't want that. I'm good. I don't need all that responsibility. That's why, because I was comfortable. I got my own company vehicle. I'm chilling. I'm in the cut. Ain't nobody really calling me. I'm doing my thing. And so God said, no, you're not. And I'm like, yes, I am. So I even denied it. So I said, you know what? So my manager, which is the white guy, came to me. He said, hey, Jay, you need to consider doing it. So I'm like, all right, man, let me go ahead and try it. So I did it. So what's the crazy part about it, right? So when I did it, it was like a year and a half ago. The pandemic just came off, right? So they brought me a number. I said, nah, I'm not doing it for that number. I'll stay where I'm at. You crazy. So my manager said, my project manager said, well, Jay, what number do you want? I gave him a number. He said, nah, they not about to give you that. He said, nah, they ain't giving you that. I said, well, then you ain't getting me. I'm cool where I'm at. He said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and submit this number for you anyway. I put this on everything I love, right? So I'll go to sleep. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a text message from him. He said, Jay, they didn't give you the number that you want. They want $1 shy. $1 shy of the number you want.
Principal.
Brilliant. Are you going to take it? I said, you know what, man? I'm going to go ahead and take this, all right? So, and them say I got wanted. So the number that I gave him, it was a good number. So after I took the position, and I did the position like a year now, I've exceeded that number. That goes back to what you say, because I'm tying into what you say. God said, your vision is too small. Jay, why you asked for that number? I was going to give you this number. Because the number I asked for was too small because I've now exceeded that number. So now that I exceeded the number, now the guy, the place that I went to apply for when I first got there, I run the whole operations over there.
Come on, man.
So the same thing that denied me in the beginning, I run it now.
So let's go here.
That's what's up.
So beautiful stories. Unbelievable fortitude to get over it.
For sure, man.
But let me say this, Keegan. There's still more work to be done.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Far from
So when we tell these stories and we show you, this is not the end of their chapters.
Milestones, just milestones.
Yeah.
True.
This is just a
just
flashpoint. This is you can keep going. This is what we're trying to tell men who's struggling right now. Women, anybody who's struggling with in a place that they feel like that they can't get past.
Anybody, I would say, anybody that's struggling right now that's watching this, man, like plant seeds. It's all about planting seeds and do the work. Faith of the mustard seed, and then plant all your seeds.
You got to plant it.
Work.
Plant seed.
You have to plant it.
Until the ground.
Until the ground.
Until the ground.
There you go.
Yes,
and
sir.
then you got to just have a vision, and then the seeds will grow, and then you're there. And then before you know it, you're like, damn, I'm here.
I think you have to want it as much as you want to breathe. You have to want to win as much as you hate losing. But you got to accept failure.
Absolutely.
It's a difference between failure and losing. Failure is a part of the success. The losing is accepting it and doing nothing.
Can I make a point, Steve? I know we gotta go.
No, go
I
ahead.
want to make a point because I think one thing that our culture and our community struggles with is taking that leap of faith to pursue your entrepreneurial goal.
Yeah.
Because what the concern is, if I fail, I'm going to end up in a very bad scenario. I might be homeless, living out my car, living back with my parents, and they can't put it in their mind, right? And then here's what happens. What you just showed people was if you do fail, you can overcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So take the chance.
Take the chance.
Because God will, He got you. He will uplift you. Take the chance. Don't be scared. Many of us are scared because we don't want to fail. It's okay to fail. You pay the tuition.
Yeah.
Right? But then you learn. You mark what you got to do going forward. And then you got to get back on that particular path and you win. Because you can win even after failure.
Absolutely.
You're showing people that right now. You can win after failure.
I really think I think it's risky when you're not trying to follow your dream. That's risky.
Real risky.
That's risky.
He's more upset with you when you sit on the talent that he gave you.
Sure.
No question.
Than when you step out there and you fail, because guess what he says? Even when you fail, I carry you.
Yeah.
I just don't accept the quitting because God didn't instill fear in you.
He didn't.
Fear is not something that Pastor Mac talk. Fear is not a godly thing.
That's not.
Fear is a humanly thing, right? So, and I want
There's
to
only one fear you should have.
fear of God.
Fear of God.
Yeah,
That's about reverence, not about being scared.
that part. So I feel like I broke the mold for my daughters so they can see it. I was the first one in my immediate family to go out, get my degree, and I took the faith, and like you said, it's a milestone.
Yes, sir.
I celebrate the wins, and I appreciate the losses. Don't ignore them. And I always live by the motto: I've never lost anything that I was supposed to have.
Amen to that.
Come on.
Never.
Listen,
motto.
guys. Man, listen, this has been a unbelievable display
You gotta do
of,
this more often.
I like this.
Yeah.
More heroism, fortitude, just the ability to get over hurdles and milestones.
Yeah.
Man, listen, man, there's nothing that we can't do. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. All things. That's in my family motto.
All things.
All things. We can do all things, and all things come within your purpose. Not just going out here doing something that you wasn't purposed to do. Within your purpose, there's no limit.
And
Go
all
ahead.
things is not just the winning, it's also the fortitude to sustain yourself through the trough.
There you go.
When you're in that valley,
Come on.
you can even get through that.
Come on. We just
All
talking right
things
now.
meant right now. You can even sustain yourself through. So don't be scared to take that leap. Take the leap, people. Take the leap.
So can I say something real quick?
You've been saying something all day. Go ahead.
So I like to do this. I like to give the flowers, right, while we can, because I'm not here often, right? So I like to say, Steve, from the bottom of my heart, I've always felt indebted to you, brother, because the way that you was always there for me, even though I've been like, dang, Steve act like he my older brother. But you knew your heart was always pure, and it always came from a place of, I care about you, my brother, and I appreciate it.
It's a fact.
Because it was for you, for the reasons that you were always on me. You always wanted to talk, because those talkings kept me from places dark places.
Yeah.
And watching your growth and your marriage, and it helped motivated me. So I'm going to give you those flowers.
Thank you, my boy.
Keegan,
I appreciate it.
watching you, talking to you, and you've been instrumental, even just watching from afar. Sometimes, the lady said, if I could just touch his cloth, if I could just be in the presence of greatness, it rubs off on you.
My boy is great.
Awesome.
So I appreciate it. I just met my brother here, right?
For sure, man.
And I felt like I know my guy for a long time. His story moved me because we came through the same walks of life. And I've been following him on Instagram. And I'm like, this guy don't even follow me back.
Well, the reason being, let me just explain this real quick. The reason being, my brother, is because you got a Broncos logo as a profile, and you got a private profile.
I do.
So I was like, who is this lurker? But then I saw Steve repost you. This was like right before we did the last joint at the barbershop, and then I put two and two together. I was like, oh, okay, so this the dude. And then I think I seen you on C's page at some point. I was like, oh, okay. Let me follow back.
but I appreciate your story, bro. You motivate me, man.
Amen.
I've watched your page for some months now, and I'm like, this guy is doing this
Appreciate
thing.
it, bro.
And to actually meet somebody in person that you admire, that you admire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
that's okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's because you admire. I'm like, dang, this guy is really doing his thing.
Thank you, bro.
To see that, and then the room being full of black people, black men in here that's doing their things, from the production crew to my man. I appreciate all of them. So I like to give everybody their flowers.
Amen, Jay.
Thank you,
and
brother.
their roses.
Amen, Jay.
I really appreciate
Everything
it.
No
while
question.
they're here, man. You guys are outstanding. God continue to bless y'all, and I appreciate being a part of this.
Yes,
Deep
sir,
Surface
man.
podcast.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man. Hey, listen.
That's how you close out, bro.
That's how you close
That's
it
how you
out.
close
The
out.
Deep Surface Podcast. You guys subscribe the Deep Surface on YouTube
And share.
and share, and the Deep Surface Pod on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you. Have a great day. We out.